if your partner genuinely wants you to be happy and stuff, they will be curious and hear you out. And you, again, can voice your opinion without feeling like you're attacking the person, because you both are attacking the conflict.
Exactly. You're on the same team.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you should.
Hello, Girly Pop. Welcome back to another episode of Definitely Delusional. My name is Dean.
And I'm Emily.
And it's almost, 4th of July tomorrow. So happy 4th, maybe.
Yeah.
you
Happy
feeling?
birthday, America.
But, to commence that, this is the first time I'm not wearing a tank top. Surprise.
Yeah. It actually has something on the back. It actually has words on the back.
You're trying to get me kicked. She's like, it's probably like kick me.
No. Do you want me to?
We're wearing Overheard LA shirts.
I love it. Okay. So the back says, of course, LA is a tough place to live. It's a city full of people who were too good for their own hometowns.
My hometown's New York City, though.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe, yeah, yours doesn't count. My hometown.
Let's just say I wouldn't be found there. Alive, at least. I wouldn't be found alive there.
I love my hometown. I just had to leave. Yeah, the way you're guzzling that water, it's so demure.
Demurely, because I sound straight. What?
Your straight voice is on.
No, it's because I could. It's like one time I think there was food stuck in my throat because I ordered appetizers before like a date once, and like I just had a really deep voice, and I think it scared the guy at first because he thought I was straight. Because I was like, "Hey, what's up? You're here," and he was like, "Wait," and I was like, "Oh wait, no, I'm Girly Pop." I'm
like,
Girly Pop.
He probably did like a whiplash. Like, who?
Whiplash. No, but literally, yeah, I'll probably be in New York when this episode airs. I'll definitely be in New York when this episode airs. But it's like getting hot in LA now. It's the summer of outside. Like I just feel like both of us, like Emily and I, are both like there was just like someone like zapped my head because I don't know what it is nowadays. Like this episode is sponsored by all the what is that what is that movie? To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's literally sponsored by that, I swear to God. Because no, I don't know what it is, but now when people disrespect me, like whatever, like I get the ick so bad. Like I just like can't shake the ick in terms of like it's finally everything is like clicking for me in terms of like, oh, they don't want you. Ugh, ick. Why would I want to stay?
Yeah. Are you finding that you're getting the ick more frequently, or like are you finding this like when you're on a date with somebody? Or are you finding this when you're like talking to them, getting to know them? Like where is this ick like coming from you? Like everywhere, randomly?
As a people pleaser, I feel like, and I don't know if y'all can relate to this or if you can relate to this, but as a people pleaser, I think before in the past, I thought seeing no icks was like so great, but it was actually not seeing icks in the past for me. And I use ick because I think it is a term that's thrown around a lot for like the more shallow things. But for me, I think I didn't see the icks that I deemed icks because I always believed, the best in people. And I've always wanted people to feel accepted and stuff. And so I never saw like small things. I thought it was always me.
Mm-hmm.
But then nowadays, I feel like I'm getting the ick more when people like disrespect me, treat me poorly, talk down to me, and just are just unkind people.
Yeah.
I just get it so fast. I'm like, if you're gonna treat like another person like that, you're definitely gonna treat me like that. And it's like if you're gonna do this, you're gonna like do it again.
Yeah.
Like to me, like.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I really do. I think that I am a recovering people pleaser, and I don't want to say I was a pick me girl. I think I had pick me tendencies in the past. Like I've definitely, judged girls for things, or maybe have said like not so nice things, thinking that like, if I was classy, maybe a guy would like me. That was like very college, and that was very ingrained of, where I went to school, and, you deconstruct all these narratives and the person you were at a point in time that no longer is who you resonate with. And, I've had to do a lot of that unlearning. But something that I've really noticed that's like a huge kind of like ick for me
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, when people, you know, want to get to know you and then like you're trying to have a conversation and then you ask them a question and then it's like the conversation's done. Okay, I'm not going to follow up. I'm not going to follow up. I'm going to let it sit there. And what I've either found by and large is that the like everything just kind of comes to a screeching halt, which is fine, or the guys are coming back and they're like, well, I don't want a pen pal. And I was like, well, then why don't you put something out that's better for me to talk to you about, or, well, I want to see you. When are you free? Okay, well, I'm quite a busy woman. Literally, I'm a busy woman. These are the dates that work for me. Okay, those dates don't work. And they're like, and I'll, you try to be accommodating,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not accommodating anymore. I'm like, this either works for me or it doesn't,
Yeah.
and if they're going to try to also be accommodating their schedule, then maybe I'll play ball with it. But I'm not bending myself over in pretzels to see you when I'm just like, okay, don't care.
Yeah, I think like also like and also it has to like deal with like what situation we're in, right? It's like for me, it's like it depends on if I know like for a fact that you're busy, like I will like, also like work around my schedule to like make sure like, I'm being reasonable in terms of like even like setting the time and date cuz like I've been trying this new thing, which I mean, I've been trying for a lot in the past where I feel like I've always failed at it because I wasn't actually doing it. But now I think like I found it to be very healing that I'm actively dating intentionally.
I love
Like
that.
dating with intention is so important. I feel like people don't remember. Like people don't remember what it means to date intentionally. And
Yeah.
like I think for me, I realized that like in the past, I think it's just about like not feeling like you're enough. So you feel like you have to like stay in whatever situation that is, no matter if it's like y'all might break it off in the future, but you're just like, no, just like I want it to be like I just want to be have this feeling for longer. But now I'm like, for a second date, I'm like, what's your intention? Like, what's your dating intention? Like for me, it's this, and if you know,
Like long-term goals. You're trying to sync up long-term goals is what you're saying. So
not even long term goals, but just like the general idea. Because I'm not really stuck on idea of like, oh, like you don't want to live, or like blah blah blah. But it's like more so like the general gist of like a beginnings of
so
something.
what are you when you say dating intentionally, what does that look like for you?
Dating intentionally for me, I always try to put my deal breakers up front,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I don't do well when the relationship is not monogamous. I need a closed relationship, not because I shame people who are in open relationships, but it's because I overthink, and so I cannot be in something that is in an open relationship. Maybe that could be discussed in the future where we could do it together, but I'm very hard on that, and like I'm a person where I don't know how to respond if you just react to my messages, and I'm like I just genuinely, it's not even me overthinking something, but even the busiest people that I know and that a lot of my friends like they've like that are in happy relationships who dated busy people, those busy people always try to ease the other person by being like, "Hey, I'm really busy today, not going to respond all day, but I'm going to get back to you." That's all you need to send. This takes less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And so like the intentions for me, it's more so like what I know that I struggle with that I can eliminate
Mm-hmm.
by being honest. And if that person can't like kind of understand that, but also it's like I get it if they want me to explain why, and I do explain it. Because people like start getting offended, like, oh, how dare you not like know how to? But it's like, girl, a lot of people are not trained to be communicated with like that. I think a lot of times, and so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it could actually be really nice for people to, um, when you come from a soft like place.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the other day, like I was with this told this guy I was like, hey, like I can't do open relationships because it just doesn't work for me or like anything open. Just like putting that out there, nothing serious. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
talk about that. And then a couple of days later, I kind of was like, and we were like talking back and forth, and I was like, hey, next time we hang out before I go to New York, like I definitely just want to like hang out and just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just 'cause I think like I do see something with you, and the thing is, I'm no longer scared of saying how I feel about things where it's like
I love
I'm
that.
like, hey, I do see something potentially something here. Not the same as potential in someone before y'all go crazy. It's just I do see a potential for something here because like I do feel calm with this person, and so I'm like, hey, we should just have a chat, It's nothing
Yeah.
like crazy, like, we're not talking about marriage or like, you know, whatever. It's just like we're talking about intentionality here and like how are we going to proceed together in terms of like communications, or are we just going to be friends, like etc. And like how is this, because I think like a lot of times we always throw ourselves in like the path of like chaos
Oh
and then
yeah.
just let it fall into place.
Yeah, I think like not that I'm dating because I'm just not, but you know, I saw something that really resonated with me the other day, and it was somebody talking about like you should go on dates with people not tied to an outcome of like, okay, if I go on this first date with someone, like I'm gonna try to meet like my husband or whoever or my wife, or like I'm trying to like meet this forever person. Like you should go into a date genuinely curious to learn something new about the person sitting across from you, to learn about the human condition, to learn about the things that you like, maybe the things that you don't like. And like that's, for me, when men want to get to know me, I'm like, but you want to get to know me in a physical way. Like I know you want to get to know me in a physical way, but like there is so much more to me than just my body. Like my mind, my soul, the way I see the world, the way I show up for my friends, like that's all great. But if you only see me in this like one dimensional way, as like an object or just as a thing to conquer, like you're not getting anything. Like I am sifting past that so much more quickly.
Yeah.
And, like I said, when you take away that whole pick me, like I want a guy to like me so much that I'm willing to like compromise myself or make myself feel like shit just to get attention. For what? For them to like revoke it whenever he's done with you? That's gonna make you feel worse, babe.
Yeah,
Like
and like
what?
I think like also I realized like a lot of that it's like when people want to just to get to know me based on like the physical parts of me, like just very lusty, like I could tell because the conversation doesn't flow as well,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm not going to name names because you know, I never want to put people on the spot, but like even like the last date I went on with this guy was so like calm. I felt calm and the conversation was very like naturally flowy back and forth, and I learned things about him and he learned things about me,
I love that.
and it was not like I needed to know everything about you. And I think that is one of the biggest this is so controversial, but I think when you overshare, it is not vulnerability. I think I used to overshare too much and I equated that with vulnerability. It's like, baby, that's a trauma response because you feel like you need to like put your entire self out there to see if someone will like accept that. But it's like, girl, let people get to know you, you know, like get to know you slowly. And like, I think that's what people forget. And I'm trying to live a more slow life in a good way. Cause you know me, I'm always like, I'm trying to be like live in a more slow like way, just in terms of like, you know, yes, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll be here and I'll be there. Like, but like try to take things slowly because when you do things too fast, I think you let a lot of things slip through the cracks.
Or you're blinded by certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I've definitely, I would be a liar if I didn't say like there are certain times like a guy is so attractive. I'm like, I don't even care if they have no personality.
But
Like
that's
just from like a
okay.
physical,
But that's also,
standpoint.
but I want to say that's also okay because it's
Like,
where
I don't
you
care.
are. It's where you are, right? And it's like, if you just want hookups, okay, girl, do whatever you want. But also, if you do want something more long term, you need to go into it more intentional. You cannot, the same way where you can't heal where you got broken is the same way where it's like you can't find something long term where you previously had intentions of hooking up with, like just hookups and like, you know, hit it and quit it.
So you think that, okay, so do you think that, and I think this is the trap that people fall into is, oftentimes people don't know where they stand with people. Do you think that somebody could move past, like, if they just viewed you as someone to hook up with, do you think people could develop feelings down the line, or is it pretty like black and white in that way? Or is it just circumstantial?
I think it's circumstantial, and that's why again, dating with intention is so helping key in that, where it's like you have a conversation because you're never gonna know where you stand until you fucking sit down and talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
pun intended, but like also like if you communicated it and you know like you don't know where you stand, girl, stand up and walk away. Like, you know, it's like you can only do so much, right? Like, let's say you want to have a conversation, the other person doesn't. Okay, great, walk away. Like now, same thing where it's like you stand up, you don't know where you stand, and you go into a conversation, you both talk, and you realize either you're on the same page, oh my god, great, let's continue like breaking this down, whatever like conversation. Doesn't You're not on the same page, okay, great. Now both of you can be your separate books, you know, like write your own chapters, go by separate ways. And I think people get so clinged on to this idea of like maybe like they're letting like the physicality judge their like cloud their judgment of who a person really is. Because I've done that in the past, girl. We've both done that. But I think that I think that it's true. It's true. It's true. Yeah. But I think that a lot of times we're just like, fuck, we're exposing ourselves. But I think a lot of times it is how a lot of people operate, right? Because I think just try it once. Even if you don't do this often, Girly Pop, try it once where it's like maybe after the first date you don't hook up with someone, right? Or maybe you already don't. Kudos, right? Yeah. But I think if you can get past like the first few without and like trying to like get to know them, because there was like a scientific study where it's like when you hook up with someone like right off the bat, it's like you're giving them the utmost form of intimacy, and it's like you will develop like a kiss releases like 80,000 like somethings. Like I like saw this video, something like
I mean like endorphins or
like something, yeah, something like
oxytocin, dopamine,
like some like things like that. And it's like obviously you're going to start developing feelings. So I don't want to feel like I don't want to tell you that like you're crazy, because you're not. And it's like literally human anatomy. And like part of me is crazy, but like, you know, I've like curbed that a little bit because I started to understand it a little bit more. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've I think that I've definitely made the mistake of that before, and then, you know.
I mean, both of us have. We both like came to each other crying before on shit like this.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. It's you know, but you know, to be young and hot in LA.
I mean, young and hot. Oh, that could be overheard.
To be young and hot in LA.
Literally.
It's hard, you know. It's hard, and no, there's no rule book for dating. Everyone's on their own bullshit.
I know there isn't.
Everyone's on their own fucking game and all their own bullshit, and like it's a town full of really attractive people. It's hard. Like this, yeah. It's competitive. It's hard. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
And like you just don't know too. It's like I think it's like when we put it in, so like that's why I tell people never to think in black and white, because it's like you just never know. Because some people I've known, they're like, yeah, I found the love of my life on like a hookup app, right?
Yeah.
But also that doesn't mean that has to be you either.
Tinderella. I know a couple.
You know, but I'm not even gonna give any apps, like any of them. The love of your life could be anywhere. That's the thing. I think you have to just like keep your mind open, but also like that conversation is so important. Also like your intentionality going into it and how you feel around whoever you meet up with. I think I'm not gonna say the name of whatever applications because no free PR. But also it's like it was an app, right? And like I didn't expect, you know, like we did hook up, but then I was like after I was like I think we should go on a date. Like I intentionally said that, and it's like before in the past I'd be too scared to be like, oh, what if it scares them away? Bitch, you're nothing to them right now. Who cares if they're scared away?
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what I literally try to like just tell myself. And so I was like, hey, like I think we should go on a date because like we get along really well.
Yeah.
And like like you actually know how to conversate, you know, like
yeah.
And so he's like, no, I would love that.
See, I feel like I get the opposite. I get the opposite response.
Oh no, but some people no, but the thing is like I'm telling you, it depends on the person too. It's like there are some people where I said them, they're like, no, not looking for anything. Not
even that. So, oh, I have so many things that I wish I could say, like really explicit things, and I don't know if I should say them, but like I have some sayings.
This episode might age very poorly. Imagine. No. It's like I'm gonna text you next week.
I still want my parents to listen to what's gonna come out of my mouth.
No, you don't. Yeah. We don't have to share that deep in depth.
You know, what I've always said, not always said, but as of, you know, recently, if your face can be in between certain parts of my body, you can sit across a dinner table at me and we can have a glass of wine and talk in public. We can do that. Like, if you can do certain things to me in private, we can do certain things in public that aren't sexual. Like, there's no reason why. And I, you know, we're talking about like the agreements about not taking things personally. I think I've just kind of gotten to the point where, you know, the old me would have been sad about like, oh my God, like I got ghosted or I got rejected. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with me because like, honey, I know I got it like that. I know I got it like that. So like if he doesn't want to call me back, that's fine because like, okay, it's the city bus. The next one's coming in 15 minutes. Like, why am I going to get tripped up on someone that does not want me or only wants me when they want me? Or, you know, I'm cool enough to like have sex with, but I'm not cool enough to like go to dinner, even like friendly vibes. It doesn't have to be like a romantic candlelit dinner. It could be like, hey, let's just like go grab a coffee and like talk.
That's what I did. Like
It's
I
so
literally
simple.
go grab a coffee and get to know a person. It's like for me, it's like I removed the romantic aspect
Yeah.
of it in the really beginning. It's like the first thing I'm like, girl, we just like
Yeah.
just want to hang out, you know?
Yeah.
And not like physically.
But that's not dating with intention then.
What do you mean?
Like, or is that, you know, with the intention of like the people that you're actually wanting to go on dates with?
Well, it depends on like their schedule and like how I can fit it
Yeah.
in because it's like, for example, it's like this is like a couple a while ago, but it was like, oh, like let me go. Like I had the intention because I was like, hey, like let's before we grab a dinner, you know, I think we should get to know each other over a coffee.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, and so it's like, oh, okay, you know,
Yeah,
an art show or whatever.
I like that. I
So
like that. I just like people. I genuinely like learning about people.
me
Like
too.
I'm so curious about them. Like, where'd you grow up? What do you do? What do you like?
And I feel like you're pretty interesting, you know.
Well, you know,
I feel like I'm pretty interesting
you're
too.
so interesting. I mean, you have a public platform for God's sake.
I mean, yeah, that, but also it's like there's so much about. I feel like it's just so baffling to me sometimes when it's like people don't know about like my life in New York, but also like my life like in college, because like a lot of my friends like now like that I'm close to are like post college.
Mm-hmm. Well, we should be hanging out with post college.
I mean, yes. I mean, but like post college in terms
Yeah.
of like the friend group I had,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, or like the friends that I had, because I think everyone's scattered, nothing personal.
Yeah, nothing personal.
But it's like kind of like weird where it's like when I tell my story, I'm like people are like, whoa, because it's like that's when I kind of know I'm like, damn, I've really like lived like
Yeah.
so many years too, like so many. I forget when I think back about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I actually had, it was so funny. I remember this. And I was talking to a person. You obviously, you know, we've talked about this person before. And we were just talking about like things that he was interested in and, you know, things that I do with work. And at one point in the conversation, because like very much a lot of things that we were very, very lockstep in a lot of stuff, which is such a shame, you know, such a shame. But I stopped myself mid sentence and I looked at him and I was like, I'm pretty fucking cool. Like when I hear myself talk about aloud about all the things that I do and all the things I'm into and the things I care about and my career outside of this podcast, I'm like, I'm pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and it took me like when I'm like, you know what? I think if I weren't me, I would want to be friends with me.
Yeah.
And that's not like a narcissistic thing. I think I bring a lot to the table, and you do too. You absolutely do. Your life is so intriguing, Dean.
I think a lot of it though, it's like because you forget it because when people, and I've talked about this before, I think a lot of times when people treat you like a shell of a person, you kind of forget everything interesting about you. And then so you feel like you are not interesting enough to get to know and stuff. And I think those are the people you need to stay away from.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
You know, because I think
Yeah.
people who are so hyper focused on the physical aspects of you, they are never going to want to get to know you deeper because they don't care about you.
Yeah.
And that's what the hard truth I had to tell myself. Because I'm like, it is the most simple saying, but I think the most simple sayings have like saved my life. Like, the love of your life, isn't the love of your life going to want you? Just a simple thing like that. I'm like, wait, girl, you right. You know, it's like,
Mhm.
isn't the love of your life gonna want to show up and gonna want to respond to you? Isn't the love of your life gonna want to plan a date? And isn't the love of
Yeah.
your life gonna want to make time in their life for you? Yeah. It's like the love of your life is not gonna like what?
Yeah.
Like treat you like a bag of fucking dirt. Like
Wow, you found fire.
like
He
Jesus.
cracked the code. Wow.
Like what the heck, you know?
He like unraveled the DNA. You figured it out. It is so simple. It is so simple, yet we complicate things. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I will say it is a little bit more deeper in terms of like, I think people need to stop. And my intentional thing that I will also add to this episode is like, when you date intentionally, you cannot be afraid of conflict too. Because I think a lot of people, one conflict and you're like out the door, girl, that is a trauma response. And you need to like, I'm not trying to come for you. It's hard to hear sometimes, but it's like,
Mhm.
Girly Pop, if you're listening to this, you need to at least try to do like figure out the first conflict. As so long it's not like what we're like essay or like whatever.
Domestic violence, we don't
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
that.
None of that.
No.
But I'm talking about like if y'all get into a tiff on like oh like laundry or like this is a bad example, but like the laundry or like where the dish is going or like how you like things organized or like it's like you need to have like a small conflict and be able to get through that. You can't just have a conflict and be like, okay, you're not my person.
Well, that's what Esther Perel says. It's not necessarily how you fight, it's how you repair.
Yeah.
How do you repair conflict?
Yeah.
And there are certain things, like I will say, if you're in a heterosexual relationship and you're a woman and you by and large find that your partner is either using weaponized incompetence or is not helpful or all the default chores go to you and you're splitting the bills 50-50, that's a bigger discussion. That's a bigger discussion about, shared responsibility and not feeling like, you're all the roles in the house and your partner's not pulling their weight. That's but that would take a partner saying, no, I hear you. I hear that you're frustrated, that, I'm not an active participant in this household. But that would require a lot of self, reflection and saying, why is my partner upset? What is the root cause of my partner being upset? And the curiosity of why. I think being curious is what saves relationships. Like I am constantly curious about people or, why something is important to them and the deeper meaning behind like, it's you respect that I have a certain way of doing things because I like things in a certain way because it brings me, I feel in control, by having the dishes go XYZ. But okay, I'm going to respect that you want them to go XYZ. I'm listening to you and I'm trying to help you in a way
And a good example,
soothing your anxieties or, what have you.
Yeah. And a good example of that, it made me think of Lisa Bilyeu. I don't know if you listened to her podcast. It's her podcast is Women of Impact, and her relationship with her husband, they both created Quest Nutrition, but she spent years in that marriage, being a stay-at-home, whatever, because that's how they began their marriage. But then she soon found herself not feeling happy in that. She went to her husband being like, hey, I've done X, Y amount of Z like for a lot of time, and being stay at home just isn't making me happy anymore. I want to feel like I have a purpose in life, but also like let's also compromise so it makes you feel like you're not like all left alone like with no like meals being prepared, because that is a lifestyle you used to be used to having meals already ready. And so they came to a compromise because his most important thing was not having someone stay at home, it was having her happy.
Wow.
And so I want people to see good examples of relationships like that, where it's like he saw that, oh, she was unhappy being like stay at home, but that was what she wanted initially. And so he was like, of course I want you to be happy, so you can stay at home and I'll but once she was unhappy and she vocalized that, he was curious and he asked why, and then they worked out together and whatever, and they both like made $1 billion company and sold it, and then like now they're like doing podcasts and like whatever. But like their type of like relationship, I don't look up to anyone, but like I like to see it as like an example, kind of like inspirational thing, where it's like even on their first date she knew, because she adjusted the way she thought the moment she met him, because he had a shitty ass like car, but he was the first man to ever open the door for her. And she realized in that moment, I don't know why I'm getting kind of sentimental, she realized that in that moment it wasn't about the car, it was about who was driving the car and what he did with that car for her, and what the intention behind all of that was. It's because he respected her. He wanted her to feel like she was seen. And so it's like, it's not about the material things. It's not about, oh, like, it's like, if your partner genuinely wants you to be happy and stuff, they will be curious and hear you out. And you, again, can voice your opinion without feeling like you're attacking the person, because you both are attacking the conflict.
Exactly. You're on the same team. Well, yeah, you should always be on the same team as your partner. You should never, be an adversary in that way.
Yeah.
That's so sweet, though. I didn't know that was history of that company. Thank you for teaching me that.
Well, it's not. Well, I don't know if this is full history, but I know they founded it.
That's so cool.
They founded Quest Nutrition.
Oh my God.
And I love Quest bars too. I used to eat them a lot more, but
yeah, me too. That's actually funny. I used to eat them too.
Wow. But
yeah, really
it was just like it was like, wow, like that's so crazy, because it's like the power of coming together, I think, is so like, it was wild.
Yeah.
They started from nothing too, so it's like,
yeah, that's even better.
So
well, hopefully they're, long, happy marriage. And
I mean, they're still like together, so they're
good.
like, and they still like talk things out, and like they still, but the thing is, like, again, dating with intention, because she came into it where it's like, even in the beginning, and they both stay by this intention and like this promise to each other. Like, I don't care. There are some things that are unrepairable in terms of like, if you do this, the marriage is over. And one of her biggest things, she's like, if you cheat on me, we're done. I don't need an explanation. I'm going to grab my things. I don't 50-50 everything. I'm not going to fight you and you're not going to fight me. I'm going to grab my stuff and I go and I'm
Yeah.
gone from your life forever.
Like,
There's
it's done.
no fight we need to have. There's no argument that needs to be had.
It
And
just is.
vice versa. If I cheat on him, he can leave.
Yeah.
It's like there are some agreements that you both need to come to. And I think that's why dating with intention and being so honest is so important. I think people hide that shit and then feel resentful later.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, don't expect
Yeah.
people to change their mind. Like, let's say, like, kids, right? If someone says they don't want kids, but you really want kids, don't expect them to maybe change their mind, because then that maybe could be like 10 years and you just wasted 10 years.
Yeah. I think those are big non-negotiables. You need to be on the same page with that. Yeah, I do. I agree with you on that. Marriage, kids. I think a really, really, really big one that people need to hash out is what do people define gender roles and responsibilities?
Yeah.
What homes were they modeled in?
Yeah.
What is their opinion about, domestic labor versus, being the breadwinner, getting physical checks? But like, what about your partner staying at home, domestic labor, which is often unpaid? How do you view that? Do you not view that as contributing?
Yeah.
And that's huge conversations
trying
about
to understand the people's upbringing. And like,
that will determine a lot.
Even like with this like relationship they talk about, in the beginning of that relationship, it was bumpy and they had conflicts because she's Greek and their family's always really loud. That was the way they like showed affection.
Yeah.
And so when Tom was around her family, he thought they hated him because they were like yelling and screaming. But then when she was around his family, she felt like they hated her because it was just silent. But that's how they grew up, like be really like quiet household. And so they both didn't understand it until they both like talked to each other, being like, oh, your family doesn't hate me. We just grew up in different households where love looked like this. Like everyone was just celebrating each other, and that was the love. That was over food and screaming at each other.
That,
like,
I kind of resonate with the former. I resonate with the former. Yeah.
And so people don't get to know those little parts of you.
Yeah.
And those like little things. And so it's like, I know we always, a lot of times, and I always do this. I used to always do this, where it's like I always put it on the job of the other person, but sometimes it's your job to let the other person know some of these things, so then like people can understand, and also vice versa. They should also let you know. It's like, because if they didn't hash that out, they would have been like, oh, your family hates me. Oh yeah, your family hates me too.
Yeah, no.
And then that's like what, a fight, and then they could have broke up.
Yeah, that'd be so silly, so silly. Yeah, because everyone, culture determines that, region determines that, religion determines that. Like, there's just so many factors that contribute to somebody's viewpoint on the world and how they their opinions on marriage and children and responsibilities and things like that. It's very much intertwined.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of get a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I love that though. See, that's why I do, if and when I ever start to date again, like I'm just excited about like meeting somebody and just getting to know them. Yeah. Like very simply getting to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you find out more cool things and you're like, no way. Like I love learning really cool quirks about people.
Yeah.
Like
me too.
Some of my coworkers and like would have never guessed this. They love making Lego sets. Intricate Lego sets, like ones that are multiple hundreds of dollars. And it's people you would never expect that love that. And when I learned that about them, I think it is so cool. Because I would have never guessed in a million years that that's what you like to do in your free time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
How cool.
I love quirks and like just, I don't know, random people. It's just random facts just make people more interesting. I think people are really afraid of that, Yeah.
Well, it's connection.
Yeah, it's connection. And I think, I don't know. I don't put expectations on anyone, but I think like, even with the mindset that I could be wrong. This episode could age really poorly, but
age like milk in the sun.
No, literally, because like, well, I mean, now that I'm in the mindset I am in now, who knows if I'll be in it in like 2 weeks. But like the mindset I'm in now, it's like even if like whatever doesn't work out, it's like I know that like if I come to it with like just like a like what is it, 2 feet like planted,
yeah,
or like
that works.
with my head up and like just being intentional, like it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because like as much as I've been hurt and like heartbroken, I do believe in love still. I really do believe in love still, and I think that a lot of like I've said this like multiple times. I'm like just a broken record. Like a lot of people like get so harsh on the world when they get their heart broken, but it's like I don't know where I get it from. Definitely, maybe not inherited, but like I don't know where I get it from. Where I can feel like I can still love to the
Yeah.
maximum, even though people haven't showed me ever.
Well, I think love takes on many forms, and love is a conscious choice, and I find that like love is in the mundane things.
Yeah.
Like love is checking in on your friends or asking them how their date went,
Mm-hmm.
or your friend had a bad day or is tired and getting them a coffee, and making sure that everyone has been accounted for and that someone isn't like left out of a plan. Love isn't always what we think love is traditionally. I think it's through the small things.
And I realized that too about me,
Yeah.
where it's like I feel very loved when people know that I can't make something, but they'll invite me to something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized one of my icks on that is when someone asks me what I'm doing and then proceed to tell me their plan that's significantly better to make themselves feel better, that their plan is better than mine. But
Well,
then,
and doesn't want to invite you. That's so hurtful.
and it's like, that's one of the, like, and I will distance myself faster than fucking, I don't even fucking, like a PR scandal. I'll literally like remove myself so fast and you won't even notice it because I give people a lot of chances.
You do way more than me.
Yeah. I was like, a lot of these people,
way more than me.
they would have probably been set on fire already.
I know.
But speaking of love, what is one of your biggest like heartbreaks, I guess, in friendships or relationships? What was your biggest heartbreak?
Mm, you know, I have to think because I've had many, many heartbreaks in my life. Um, you know, I think that, you think of like the one when you're younger, like the one that like, oh, like I'm never gonna be okay again. I think of this one so funny. Um, about I was in high school and I've clearly grown, but when I'm thinking like off the top of my head, I was dating somebody who, was in the military and I wrote him letters every day. Like I literally was like the notebook. I wrote him letters every day and every Friday I would get letters back from him and I always thought about him. And I just like really, really had a lot of love in my heart for this person who I didn't even like at the beginning. That's how they freaking scam you. Let the record say it's usually the guy that you don't want to give a chance to in the beginning, and they fucking come around and end up being the biggest piece of shit. And you should have never given him a chance to begin with.
I'm dead.
I digress. But no, like I, was very faithful to him to the point I wasn't even getting like dates to like homecomings or proms because I was like, well, no, like not that anyone was asking me either, but he when I came to see him, it was the weirdest energy. It was like a completely different person. And I found out also that he was like cheating on me. And then after the fact, and everyone knew but me, but him just like up all of a sudden, just like cutting communication off. And that really like slow ghost to like complete silence and absence was really, really hard for me. Because here I was like so devoted, so faithful, so loving, so nurturing. Like I really just wanted to be around him and to celebrate him and for him just to be so cold. I was like, I was like, well, who else were you fucking writing?
Yeah.
And I know he was writing other women. And I was like, I spent 2 years with him and I really cared for him. But that definitely kind of
Yeah.
fucked me up. And I can always tell when guys are like slow ghosting me. I'm like, just pull the ripcord already.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. Oh my God, high school.
It's so funny. But like, that is pretty cruel though.
Yeah.
He should have just been like, I ain't feeling it, sis. Like, don't even bother don't even spend money on the plane ticket to San Diego.
Yeah.
Like, don't even.
Yeah. And I also think our biggest heartbreaks though are like, sometimes I don't realize it until I look back on things, like even friendships or relationships, heartbreak wise. So.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have any big heartbreaks?
I think one of my biggest heartbreaks, I think there were one of my biggest heartbreaks was in high school, I think. Again,
I like how we go back to high school. Who hurt you?
no, but I think it was, well, I was two. I think it was two of the hardest. I think like these two really shaped the trajectory of how lovable I felt in my
Mm-hmm.
life. So like I think the first heartbreak, it was I think it was my sophomore year of high school. I remember distinctly, and like I hadn't even come out at this point, right? And it was just like two other people that knew. And one of them was the first person I ever liked ever. And we were like really good friends, but also like he was also gay. So it was not like one of those where it's like impossible type of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember telling him that I liked him or whatever. And he didn't tell me this directly, but hearing it from someone else made it hurt even more. I think like everything about me was great. Like he told this person, he was like, oh my God, Dean is great. He has a great laugh. He's a great conversationalist. Um, all these things. Too bad he's Asian. And I think at the time I brushed it off. You know, you're in high school, you're like, nothing bothers me. But at that time, I remember distinctly in my brain something shifted where it's like, okay, who I am is not enough. So I'm going to get rid of all my friends who even remotely represent any of the Asianness in me. I looked at myself in the mirror, made sure I had no accent ever anywhere I went. That's why I still don't have an accent today. Um, and after that, like I hated myself for a long time after that. And so yeah, that was my first biggest heartbreak, I think. And then I think my second one was, it was a summer in New York, and I was part of this program. I'm actually seeing him when I go to New York, but like as friends, okay, but not in a toxic way.
Okay.
No, seriously, seriously,
Okay,
seriously,
Pookie.
because I it was a heartbreak because I think I was his first person that he's kissed in terms of like a guy, and I made him realize that he was gay. But I truly like I generally saw him,
Yeah.
I think, and
Yeah.
it was one of the times that like he found out that I liked him because I think I left my phone. Yeah, I left my phone on the table, and I went to the bathroom and I forgot I left my phone on the table on a chat to my best friend at the time, and he found it and I walked out and I never felt my heart drop to the bottom of my stomach before in my life.
Oh.
And so he knew, but he like at this point he was just like, no, I'm straight, whatever, but like you're a great friend, whatever. And a year later we went to attend the same summer program together, and like that summer I think like he really was more open to being into me and stuff. And like yeah, it was one of those things where it's like it didn't really work out because we were just kids.
Yeah.
You know, we were just two kids in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys are still friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I guess my other, now that I think about it, my other like heartbreak, more or less, it was like, my heartbreak was like with myself, more or less. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was, I guess at one point, in previous relationships, I, to be quite honest, and, people can say that this is a projection, but I feel like in a way, every person I've been with in a relationship has never really liked me. Like they like me, but they don't really like me. Like there's some kind of,
Animosity.
yeah, like I can't understand what it is. Like, and I just remember feeling like in these past relationships, I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself anymore. Like I broke my own heart in staying in situations that were like physically draining the life force out of me. And that's really hard when you see yourself and you're like, I don't recognize me. And people were like, I don't recognize you either. Like, I feel like I'm seeing you for the first time, when you leave those situations. And I'm just like, it breaks my heart that I was walking around that long in an inauthentic version of me, playing small or not fully engaged with the present or dissociated as fuck, like not paying attention to what was going on just because I was so stuck in survival mode.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I know, I feel like I I have to make peace with that's what it was, but I look at that version of myself and I just like want to give her a hug and be like, oh honey.
Yeah, a lot of it I'm like I want to go back and hug my younger self and like the heartbreaks and stuff, but I'm like
Yeah.
actually I don't, because it made me who I am today.
Exactly.
You know, and I feel like sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, where it's like, bruh, the we are still so loving people despite all this shit. Like,
Mhm.
what?
What? Yeah.
Like, a lot of people would just go solid, like, rock hard heart,
Mhm.
after all this shit. But it's like the fact that we still remain open to the possibility of finding that person or finding the life and like
Yeah.
being whatever. And my mantra is like, if they can have it, so can I. If someone can have a love like that, so can I. With everything in life.
Is it, dear God, I seen what you do for others. Like I always say that when I see somebody like in a relationship that's like, or something really funny happens to them. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, dear God, I see what you've done for others.
Right. Like, girl. Like, I don't need you to save it for later. Like, come on now. Like, this is not Klarna, babe. This is not Klarna. Like, do not save it for later. Like, send me it now. Like, girl, I need a. I'm just kidding.
No layaway on the love. Don't put.
Layaway on the love. No, we don't love a layaway on the love. But girl, we are yappers because how did this episode go from Independence Day to
Yeah.
heartbreak?
Well, my heart is broken right now. America breaks my heart.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
America,
heartbroken.
I mean, America always be breaking my heart.
Yeah, I think.
Don't go. Wait, what is that?
Don't go breaking my heart. Do you know who sings that?
No, I forgot.
Pretty sure it's Sonny and Cher.
Oh, I heard it. I'm just like really bad at lyrics.
Nobody knows it. Nobody knows
Okay,
it.
America's Got Talent. Shit.
Well, if you want to make it here in Hollywood, you
Well,
got to be able to do everything.
I used to be in chorus. I should go back into it.
I'm a weird theater kid. I'm a weird Broadway theater girl. Like,
I have a video of me performing, trying to sing a solo for a school play on my phone from like second grade, like filmed on like a fucking shitty ass camera. It's for my future documentary. Okay.
Dean was a star. There were signs.
A star was born. But anyway, hope y'all have a happy beginning to your July. But before we end this episode, because we did heartbreaks, I'm like, I need to ask a question. What is one of your biggest icks?
God. Like a funny ick?
No, an ick.
An ick.
Like a ick.
I have so many icks. I have so many icks. Can you?
What is the most recent one?
I think just men breathing in general. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You're like, can I unplug them? Then I'll marry.
Yeah, right.
I'm dead.
I think definitely people are like, I'm not political, or I hate that. That's such an ick for me right now. I'm like, people are apolitical people, or people that are like, yeah, that's a big ick. There's another one that's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't believe that I'm like scrambled egg brains right now. I think. Okay, I think another big ick for me is people that are unaware, like when they're in public and you're walking with somebody and they just like take off, or like like they'll walk ahead of you and I'm like, I'm just clacking on my heels back here. Like, okay, you're gonna let me. Yeah, I want you. I will intentionally, if I am walking with somebody and they take off running, I will go at a turtle speed and I will time how long it takes for them to realize that I'm behind them.
That's why I always grab her arm, because I'm like, I know I'm a New Yorker, and I'm like, you need to come with me, like, because I know, like if I walk at like my pace,
yeah,
Emily would look like an ant in the distance in like within 5 minutes.
I have a short stride, okay?
I mean, you're also in heels, so I'm like, I'm in like always like my shorts, my tank top, and my sneakers.
Yeah, you're looking like you're going for a run midday, and I'm like just bopping along in my little heels. Oh my!
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? What's an ick for you?
Well, okay, I think my ick is when people make me feel like they have animosity towards me. Everything in my life right now. That's like one of my biggest icks. Is when people try to, like I feel the animosity. I'm like, ooh, girl.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's like, girl, why are your eyes lighting up as I'm giving you bad news? Like, that is secret animosity. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy business.
The fact that you're able to see that aura on people, I mean, like, not everybody who's your friend is your friend. That's a huge one.
Well, it's because I think I've had a lot of people treat me like shit. So I'm really good at,
You're reading the room.
Reading the room.
Read the room.
Read the
There's a
room.
demon twink in the room.
I'm no demon. I'm a Dean Mon.
Dion.
Just kidding. Okay. Thank you for listening to this episode. We love you. And yeah, thanks for listening. Have a great beginning of your July. My name is Dean.
And I'm Emily.
And Girly Pop, we love you.
Yes, be safe this 4th of July. Do not handle fireworks unless you want to lose some fingers. So we want
Just watch them, okay, girl? Just watch them, promise you.
Yeah, it's not worth it, man.
Yeah. And they're definitely delusional. I'm going to try to get Emily one first before I like announce the launch, because I just didn't want to do it in like the whole shebang of all these things, you know?
There's a lot
Because like
going
I
on.
got to be smart.
Mhm.
I got to be smart, but also got to be like compassionate about the shit going on. I don't want to take away from anything.
Yeah.
So
Read in the room.
we're reading the room. Anyway, love you.
Bye.